media and whoever that we're around. I mean, even tonight, I don't know if Luke's mentioned before, we spoke to Russell Simmons even this evening at an event, and he's willing to look at the evidence of the study with the explosives that were found in the debris of the World Trade Center. And, he even is looking to support the ballot initiative that's taking place in New York City. So, all you have to do is just go up to someone, speak to them, get in conversation, and then take it further. Luke, what about you? How do you feel?
Yeah, Bermas, I was going to say, we got one of our cameras back. They still have two other cameras from when they arrested me with the Bloomberg case. And we got our cameras back. We started interviewing people down at, Times Square and Ground Zero again. And the responses we get from people when we interview them, we ask them questions like, what team is playing in the NBA playoffs? And everybody knows a team that's playing in the NBA playoffs right now. Then we ask them what the Second Amendment is. And nobody knows what the Second Amendment is. We have
been dumbed down to a new level, Luke. A new level, and we're going to talk about that on the other side, and this Obama administration really continuing the last administration's agenda. We're going to continue to take your calls in the next segment. My guests are Manny Badillo and Luke Rudowski of wearechange.org out of New York City. And I want to talk right now about the dumbing down, the mesmerization of society, this culture of just ignorance. And, everybody knows who's in the playoffs. Everybody knows who won the Super Bowl. Everybody knows about, Borat and now Bruno, but they don't know about their politicians. They don't know about the policies. They have no idea, what this cybersecurity coordinator and really new office is going to mean for this country. And people just want to hang on to this hope that change is real and that Obama is here to change things. He's here to change things for the worse. So why don't you talk a little bit about these man-on-the-street interviews, guys?
Yeah, pretty much basically we go down there and we talk to people and we ask them serious questions, what they think about the whole torture debate, the spying debate, everything that's going on. But the most intriguing thing is we actually interviewed some sailors. And we asked them, about the NBA playoffs, and they knew everything about the NBA playoffs. And then we asked them what the Second Amendment was, and these military men did not even know what the Second Amendment was. So it's sad in a way, but hopefully when more and more people see these interviews that we play on our live show every Sunday on wearechange.org, people could see, the transition in people's minds, because we talked to these sailors and we broke down the whole torture debate, how people were being raped there, how people were confessing to fake terrorist attacks, and how torture doesn't really work. And we were able to convince these, young men in arms that torture is not right. And you see their minds change from saying it is right to no, it's not right, after we keep talking about them, what's really happening in this country, in this world. So it's a scary thing, but again, let's not give up on everybody. Let's talk to everybody. Let's give everybody a chance. We were all there once. Let's just talk to people.
No, absolutely. And, you talked about the Second Amendment. Manny, how do you feel about this Sonia Sotomayor being presented as our next Supreme Court justice when she's actually written a book called, America's Deadly Obsession, Gun, and it's all about guns, and she says in it, the Second Amendment actually makes guns illegal for the majority of Americans and only ensures that military men have the right to carry these guns.
I'm not surprised at all what's happening in the political realm in this administration. It's a carryover from the last one, a carryover from the one before. We have a very corrupt government right now, and the dumbing down that's happened in our society, which we're discussing, has contributed to the fact that these criminals and these corrupt people can get into power or even be given the opportunity to be in a position of power because we're not fully aware of what's happening. I'm telling you, it hurts when I'm down at Ground Zero and I'll scream out more things such as like, why do we know more about the Simpsons than we know about our own Constitution, and why do we laugh at that? And people stop and they look back, and ultimately, what it comes down to is it is done by design. We are dumbed down. We are not really given the opportunity to critically think about things that are happening. This is the whole issue with my uncle's murder. This is the whole issue with the mass murder that took place close to 8 years ago, 3,000 innocents. People don't even know 3 towers collapsed. People don't know how many hijacked planes there were because really we're just made fat and happy and entertained in this country, and we don't sit down and we don't go deeper into the issues because we're just told everything. And what we need to do is we need to be able to go further. We need to communicate with people. We need to read. We need to be able to critically think and go further into what's happening. And I really felt as if perhaps Senator Gillibrand has that in her to be able to take a look at this study, to be able to maybe consider more about what the family members are going through and what really all concerned citizens of this country who know that we were lied to about 9/11 on whatever level are able to do that. And that's so important that takes place.
Well, we're just talking about how people are so ignorant to what really went on 9/11. They don't know that 3 towers collapsed. They can't tell you how many planes were actually hijacked. And one of the most compelling parts of the IFC film to me, New World Order, whether you loved it or hated it, was the part where it felt like the filmmakers may be turning, if you will, on the young blonde man who was down in Louisiana. I think he was in New Orleans.
That's Jackson.
Yes, Jackson. And he was, he just had 9/11 Truth. He was handing out flyers. He's handing out films, trying to talk to people. And 2 people who worked in the Pentagon just started laughing at him. They addressed the camera. Are you believing this, folks? Let me speak to the audience. And you really think, wow, I can't believe they're doing him like this. And then he turns around and he says, can you tell me who one hijacker is? And both military guys just stand there with a blank face. And these guys can't even name Muhammad Atta, for God's sakes. And they're the ones supposedly defending the country against terror? Give me a break. We're coming back after this. Luke Rudowski, Manny Badillo, wearechange.org. Go check out our websites, prisonplanet.tv and Infowars.com.